This is all about clearing the path. Clearing the path and realign. Accepting where you're at, understanding where you're at, and now realigning to get where you want to go. You know something needs to shift and change. You know you're disaligned, but you feel lost in the fog. Maybe also lost in the choices you have. You know, you're like, am I going this way? Do I want to go that way? Do I want to be in this relationship? Do I not want to be in this relationship? What do I want? Imagine what your life could look like. Don't attach it to a person that has their own free will. Just revel in the feeling. Good morning, my lovelies. Welcome back. We are talking about the eclipse, the first eclipse in this eclipse season. And this is a lunar eclipse, a partial lunar eclipse. However, I think this is going to be an eclipse that will really show us where we are not aligned and where we have to do some work. This eclipse happens in Pisces. This is a full moon in Pisces. It's a north node eclipse, but it's a full moon, a lunar eclipse, a letting go, north node moving towards. What are you moving towards? Remember, in the past few weeks, I've been honing in on that in all the weekly forecasts. What are you growing into? What are you rooting into? What are you building? Where do you want to go? And now this full moon will show you where you're not aligned. Where do you have to realign yourself to get there? The moon and the nodes are in different signs. Pisces, Aries. In Pisces and Aries, we are ending a cycle and then we are beginning a cycle. So these two are really at odds with each other. Their energy is so different. And therefore, when I look at this eclipse, I'm seeing disalignment. We will be shown the disalignment quite literally. Where is your disalignment holding you back from moving forward? And not just moving forward, but moving towards where you want to go, what you really want, your true desires, what you came here to build. Remember, the nodes are the nodes of the moon, and the moon is our unconscious desires. And it's flavored with a lot of different things. It's flavored with soul essence, but it's also flavored with conditioning. So where do you need to decondition yourself to get into alignment with your soul yearning, where you want to go? Like I said, this is a partial eclipse, and in a partial eclipse, the sun, the earth, and the moon are out of alignment, right? They're not perfectly aligned. That's why we get a partial eclipse. That is another indicator for me energetically to look at alignment. So this eclipse really is all about realignment, realigning yourself. And for some of us, this is going to be more difficult than others. I would say, especially if you have planets or points in Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, and Sagittarius, this will probably hit a little stronger, especially Pisces and Virgo, and especially Pisces. So for you guys, the next 2 years, you will have the eclipse in your sign, by the way. So this is a good indicator to good check-in point, where you're at and what are you going to work on. I also think Aries, especially if you have your personal planets or any planet really, or any point in early Aries between 1 and 10 degrees, this eclipse will also affect you more. This is all about clearing the path. Clearing the path and realign. Full moon, eclipse, lunar eclipse, letting go. Accepting where you're at, understanding where you're at, and now realigning to get where you want to go. And just before we get into the sign, let's look at the aspect. The nodes are in 6 degrees of Aries and Libra. The moon is in 25 degrees of Pisces. What else is in Pisces late degree right now? Neptune. Neptune conjunct the eclipse. And what else do we know about Neptune? Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. This is going to feel very nebulous. You know something needs to shift and change. You know you're disaligned, but you feel lost in the fog of like, or maybe also lost in the choices you have. You know, you're like, am I going this way? Do I want to go that way? Do I want to be in this relationship? Do I not want to be in this relationship? What do I want? And this is the sign of letting go, right? Pisces is the sign of letting go. This eclipse tells us let go. There's so much letting go in here. Now, how do you let go? Well, you got to find your own way. You know, everyone can tell you, oh, you do this and you meditate and you do that. Find a hobby, like, you know, just let go. You know, those people, they're just like, oh, just let go. Okay, thank you very much. You will have to find your own way. And this is often a trial and error, right? You know, there's obviously tools that can help you, bodily tools, breathing, obviously meditation, yoga, slow walking, everything that helps you detach from the isness, right? The material world. Those are things I would start with. But then also, remember, what is Pisces all about? Pisces is a playful sign. Pisces is a sign of imagination. Now, imagination is going to be your best friend. I'm not talking about delusion. I'm talking about imagination. Imagine how you want your life to look like and stay in that. Even if your life doesn't look like that right now. I know. But just imagine, just play with it. Don't get too serious about it and just want it so badly. Imagine what your life could look like. Don't attach it to a person that has their own free will. Just revel in the feeling. And again, the best way I found is to do that in a meditation. Find a meditation tool that helps you. So detachment, letting go, and realigning. Because you can't realign before you let go. Right? You've got to let go first. The letting go has to come first. And it's a process. It's not like, okay, I let go. Maybe there are some people that can do that. I haven't ever met anyone. Two more aspects that I want to talk about. Mars in 7 degrees of Cancer, squaring the notes in Aries. Now, Mars is the ruler of Aries, as you know, and Mars is in Cancer, the sign that Mars is not fond of. Mars is so moody here, so we can expect moodiness, like extreme moodiness, extreme kind of like, oh, I'm so fed up with everything. That's probably going to be part of the equation, but it's also going to be part of what needs to be let go of, right? But like the emotions are going to run really high here. Also, the moon is conjunct Saturn. We talked about the moon conjunct Neptune, but the moon is also conjunct Saturn in a wide conjunction, right? 10 degrees. But still, you know, we cannot overlook that. We cannot overlook that. So this is for me part of the realignment, right? Like Saturn wants you to realign your life, realign where you're going. So this is, I'm not sure how strong that Saturn influence is going to be. Well, it probably depends on, you know, your aspects in your natal chart. You know, you'll probably be able to see how that will affect you. Now, if you have like, again, planets or points in this area between Saturn and the moon, you'll probably feel it much more, right? Like I have, for example, I have my Mars in that area. So say no more. The last thing I want to say, Mercury is in 14 degrees of Virgo. The sun is in Virgo, obviously. So the sun is in a wide conjunction with Mercury, and then obviously also the moon is in a wide opposition aspect with Mercury. So I guess conversations are going to be part of this this whole event. Having to have conversations. Remember, the Mercury just came out of its retrograde. Mercury might be ready now to have the conversation needed. I would say though, since this is a very Neptunian eclipse. I would just let the eclipse pass before I have the serious conversations, right? Like, you know, just stay in it, stay with the wanted, and then have the conversation after, right? Stay with the feeling, stay with the emotion, not the negative emotion. Stay with the emotion of what you desire. How does that feel? Stay with that. It's got to be a visceral experience, right? Visceral, a whole body experience. So now let's get into the sign, because otherwise this is going to be going on forever. Now, Aries and Aries rising. For you, my lovely Aries, this is happening in the 12th house and the 6th house. We are talking about your spiritual life, and we're also talking about health here. We're talking about your spiritual health, your emotional health, your mental health, but also your physical health. Remember, the sun is in Virgo right now, your 6th house. The question here might be like, how are your current routines holding you back from, you know, growing into that bigger self, that evolved self? What you may have to shift and change there to realign with it. I think for you especially, meditation and spiritual work, if you want to call it that, is going to be especially helpful. You know, also retreating, just retreating as in, just take yourself out of society for a moment, like just a day, like just, maybe it's just a few hours, but go on a walk, do things on your own, be with yourself. Go down to the lake, the park, the ocean, whatever is near you, the forest, and just be with yourself and your senses, all your senses, including the 6th one. Then Taurus and Taurus rising, for you, this is the 11th house. The moon is in the 11th house, the eclipse happens there, but obviously the sun is in the 5th. Now here we are talking about how is your creative self-expression contributing to feeling fulfilled in your life, feeling fulfilled on all levels, feeling fulfilled in the community you live in. Like fulfillment when it comes to the people that you surround yourself with by choice, but also fulfillment when it comes to trusting and knowing how to make your dreams a reality, right? Like your hopes and dreams for the future. What is fueling that, and how rooted are you into that? Do you trust it? Do you believe it? And I think there might be some adjustment necessary in the 5th house in order to be fully yourself in the 11th house, right? With your friends, with your friendship circle, with your community, the community you live in, and what you believe you can have in this lifetime, what you can achieve in this lifetime, and how you give back then to the people. There might also be something going on with children. If you have children, then it may be with your children, but children can play a part here as well. Because, you know, our children are our legacy. And if you don't have children, then you might thinking about legacy in a different way. So a legacy might become a bigger focus for you. And legacy, you know, this can mean a lot of different things for a lot of different people. So you have to figure out what that means for you. Now, Gemini rising, for you, this is happening in the 4th house and the 10th house. Eclipse is happening in the 10th house. Now, your aspirations, your purpose work. What are you doing in life? What is your purpose? What is fulfilling you? What are you desiring to accomplish? What does it mean for you to feel on top of the world? That again also means a lot of different things for a lot of different people, but what does it mean for you? How does it feel? Remember this, what I said in the beginning, you really want to feel into where you're going, right? How does it feel? How does it feel as in the pleasure, the joy, the yumminess, the juiciness? How does it feel? You know, doing what you want to do in this lifetime. How does that feel? How does it make you feel? And since we are also, of course, here dealing with the 4th house, your private life, what do you maybe have to adjust in that area to be able to do that up there? Where do you have to realign? Cancer rising. For you, this is a 3rd house, 9th house transit. So the moon is in the 9th house, the sun is in the 3rd house. I think here we are talking about the greater experience of life, adventure, venturing out into the world. Belief systems, like belief system changes, adjusting your belief system. And maybe, you know, you've grown up with a certain belief system, because in the 3rd house we learn, right? We are conditioned to what to believe. Maybe, there are obstacles here where you cannot get past a certain belief because you believe this and that's why your life looks like that. What do you maybe have to shift and change there when it comes to your belief? This could also relate to religion. Maybe there is something, maybe you know, you're part of a certain religion, and there are beliefs in that religion that may not be helpful for you to move forward. I'm not saying you have to lose your religion, not saying that. I'm just saying, you know, where do you might have to adjust a few things, a few bulbs, you know, and exchange some wires to actually believe that you can have what you want, to truly believe it. Again, I think there might be work in the 3rd house. There might be work to do in the 3rd house, because the 3rd house is where it's starting, right? The 3rd house is where we are educated. It is our immediate surrounding. Also, maybe in your immediate surrounding, maybe something needs to change and shift in your immediate surrounding. Maybe you need to move away from a certain social circle that you're in. Maybe also maybe you have to have conversations with immediate family members. So I think that is what's going on for you specifically during this eclipse. Now, Leo rising, for you, this is an 8th house, 2nd house transit. Worth and value shifts, value changes. What are you valuing? What are your true core values? You can dive so much deeper with that eclipse in the 8th house, because in the 2nd house we shape our worth and value, right? Our values, we hone in on those. We set up the values, we set up our beliefs about money, what we are worth, what we value, how we value it. And then in the 8th house, often through other people, specifically often our partner, we get to see where we are standing in our own way, where certain values might not align with what we actually want, where our self-worth and the way we value ourselves might not align with what we are yearning for, what we actually want. So I think there's going to be some deeper work happening there for you. Some going down the rabbit hole. Maybe you want to do that with someone, some professional, like a therapist, psychologist, to look into that a little deeper, to understand yourself better, why you're doing what you're doing and why it's hindering and holding you back from going where you want to go, achieving what you want to achieve. Since Mars is in the picture here as well, I think this could also relate to your masculine energy, but also role models, male role models in your life. Now, Virgo rising. My lovely Virgos. Welcome to the 7th house. This eclipse is happening in your 7th house. That's the house of partnership, one-on-one relationships. And yes, this includes the relationship of relationships that we have, our life partner, our husband, our whatever you call that person that you're with. I think this is probably going to be quite a big one when it comes to relationships for you. There might be a lot of confusion. There might be a lot of different ways you could take this, and you're not sure which one you want to go. Well, take it back to the 1st house, right? Like, because what are we doing here, right? This is a lunar eclipse, full moon. The sun is in your 1st house. The sun in your 1st house says, okay, I am shining a light in your 1st house, your direction in life, who you are, your identity. What's your identity now? What are you identifying as? What do you identify with? Who are you identifying with? Take it back to the 1st house. Understand who you are now, to then make a decision about whatever you have to make a decision about in your relationships. How aligned are you with your partner's values? This is, of course, if you are in a relationship, right? We're talking about someone that is in a relationship. How aligned are you with their values? How aligned are they with your values? What needs to shift and change in this partnership? What do you need to work on if you want to take this partnership further? If you're not in a relationship, this is still showing up in one-on-one relationships, right? This might come up in a friendship. This might come up in a relationship that you have with, I don't know, even a family member. Anyone that is really close to you, that knows you well, that you have like a serious one-on-one relationship with. This can show up, right? And it can show up in as like, this is me, this is my identity, this is who I am. And are you respecting that person? How is our relationship going to look like? Then Libra rising, for you, this is happening in the 6th house and the 12th house. We are talking about day-to-day routines, new work-life balance, a new work-life balance in general. Like, what is your new routine like, and how is that then helping you move towards your goals better? Move forward in a way where you are actually feeling like you're moving towards what you want. I think the 12th house can help you there in terms of really connecting to your spiritual routine, your spiritual self, your spiritual essence, and how can that help you, to shift and change things in your day-to-day, in your work, in your day-to-day life, the way you go about your day, the way you go about your life. How is that helping you? Maybe it'd be helpful to have a new daily meditation routine or yoga practice or whatever that can shift things for you, that can help you shift things for you. Scorpio rising, for you, this is an eclipse in the 5th house. You also have to look at the 11th house, of course. I think this is gonna focus in on your children, if you have children, of course. If you don't have children, then this may be about possibly having children or your creative self-expression. How do you feel like you're expressing yourself as you? If not, why not? What is hindering you? What do you need to let go, strip off, strip away? So you can then build that legacy, right? Like, because remember, the sun right now is in your 11th house. The legacy that you're building. Also your friendship circle, yes, and your community, the community you're in, giving back to the community. But before we can give back to others, we got to be full ourselves, right? We can't give from an empty cup. Are you giving from an empty cup right now? I can think at least of one person that I know that this message is probably very relevant for. Are you giving from an empty cup? How do you fill your cup first? Also remember, on the plane, you got to put on your oxygen mask first before you help others. Think about that. Sagittarius rising. This eclipse is happening in the 4th house for you. Home and family life, renovation. Maybe this is quite literally a renovation of your home, moving a home, like, taking things out of your home. And by things, can be people too. What needs to be released in the 4th house so you can then move forward towards the 10th house. How is the 10th house, your professional life? How is that affecting your personal life and vice versa? And where are you out of alignment? Where is it not working out? Capricorn rising, eclipse in the 3rd house. I would guess this has a lot to do with re-education, meaning inner child work, right? The 3rd house is where we are highly conditioned, right? We're highly conditioned to believe certain things in life, to understand certain things a certain way. And of course, our social circle is that we, that we are in is contributing to that. So maybe you might have to look at your social circle and see where you're not aligned with their understanding of life, and then look at what you believe and why you're believing that, and how it is actually helping or not helping you to move forward in life. This can also relate to your immediate family, siblings, aunts, uncles, right? Then Aquarius rising, second house, worth and value, reevaluation of your values. I think there is a lot of, you've been going through reevaluations quite a bit. I think I remember in the past few videos when we talked about other alignments, specifically, you know, Saturn is there right now, Neptune is there right now. This is a theme for you, this reevaluation of your values, like stepping into your worth and really stepping into it, right? Physically, it's got to be a visceral experience, got to be felt in the body. It can't just be a mental exercise. You need to start getting that, right? Like that this eclipse wants to hone in on it. It's like where you're not aligned with your values, where you're like aligned with other people's values, and then you're living your life from that place. No, can't do. Pisces rising, my lovely Pisces. I don't know why I just laughed. I think because for you this is like it, right? This is a big one for you. Where are you going? Where are you rooting into? Identity shifts and changes. You know, who are you now? You know, what have you already taken off, and where do you have to take off even more? Where do you have to root in even deeper in who you are, who you want to show up as, who you want to be seen as? And not just from a place of, oh, this is how I want to be seen, you know, because my ego wants that. No, that rooted place where you know, that knowing, that inner fire, right? This is the natural place of Aries, the first house, the inner fire that propels us forward. What is that inner fire telling you? What is lighting you up? Go there. Go there. Forget all of the rest for a moment. Go to that inner fire. What is that telling you? And then stay with the feeling. And then from there you walk and work your way forward. Not the other way around. Or, you know, there is no need to make structured plans right now. With this eclipse, you don't need that. You need to stay with that inner fire, that feeling that propels you forward, that tells you this is where I want to go. Don't think about how you're going to do it yet. It's not important at this point. At this point, you want to stay with what lights you up. Stay with that feeling. Again, like I said, meditation is going to be a beautiful tool for you, especially during this eclipse. Always, but especially during this eclipse. I really would urge you to utilize that. So my lovelies, let me know if you have any questions about this eclipse. I'm happy to go a little deeper if needed. And then also, if you want a personal reading, you can book it by clicking on the link in the description box. If you have any other questions, send me an email, message me. Have a beautiful lunar eclipse in Pisces, and I will talk to you in the next video.